just let me know your thoughts on Jake going 6 rounds with AJ.
You know, the fact that he did that.
Lennox Lewis sensed this catastrophe long before it unfolded. And when the lights came on in Miami, his intuition proved brutally correct. This was no longer an influencer spectacle. It became a clear lesson in what happens when internet fame crashes into real heavyweight power. The world wondered whether Jake Paul's defiant persona could survive the overwhelming force of a former undisputed champion. But Lennox Lewis watched on with the quiet confidence of a man who already knew the ending. By the 6th round, the result wasn't merely clear. It was written in blood. This wasn't an upset or a surprise. It was the total destruction of a content creator who finally met his breaking point.
Paul, what do you think when I heard about the fight? I said, they're going to actually fight? I didn't believe it. But what we got to do is say, Jake Paul really bit off a lot this time. He's serious. He wants to go up against a true heavyweight, and that's Anthony Joshua. So he's up against a heavyweight. How is he gonna adopt? How is he gonna feel? How is he gonna fight when he gets in there? I don't see him fighting. I see him looking to survive in the fight. He's gonna feel the uppercut. He's gonna feel the jab. He's gonna feel the right hand. How's he gonna react? I don't know. We're gonna have to see how he's gonna.
Lennox Lewis was baffled by this matchup from the moment it was announced. The heavyweight icon spoke openly from the start, admitting he couldn't believe Jake Paul would step into the ring with someone of a Jay's level. Lewis didn't hold back, comparing Joshua to a Formula One car while likening Jake to something meant for grocery runs. His prediction was straightforward. Once a Jay's explosive power landed, Jake would go from fighting to barely staying conscious. Lewis believed the so-called problem child had finally misjudged his limits. His breakdown of the exact moment it all unraveled is just as ruthless as the knockout that brought it to an end.
My mom wanted me not to fight Anthony Joshua. I should have listened to my mom. My dad pushed me to this. Now I'm around in the hospital. Got to eat liquid now.
Everyone focused on Joshua's massive 15-month layoff going into fight night. Critics warned about ring rust, and in the early rounds, it looked like they might be right. AJ appeared cautious, almost overly restrained, as he searched for his timing against a smaller, constantly moving opponent. But Lewis looked past the surface, explaining this wasn't rust at all. It was calculated control. Joshua was facing someone darting around like a game of hide and seek in the ring. Those early rounds were AJ shaking off the cobwebs, using one of the world's biggest streaming stars as nothing more than a warm-up before the real work began.
We fight. We're licensed to kill. I'm sure many people don't understand it, but this is what my job is. And I just enjoy what I do. Whatever happens, happens. As long as my hand's raised, that's what's important, right? Respectfully. That's just the mentality we have to have as fighters. I don't know if any other fighter thinks that way. Maybe they're a bit more tame. But the things I watch and the way my mind works, when you're in that ring, it's a dangerous place to be and anything can happen. And you hope your opponent leaves the ring safely, but if they don't, you know, you still have to go to bed at night knowing that you just done your...
Jake Paul's strategy was clear from the opening bell. He chose the marathon approach, spending the first 3 rounds circling the perimeter, constantly moving to frustrate Joshua and stay clear of that crushing right hand. Lewis saw exactly what was happening and knew that non-stop movement drains energy quickly, especially for someone unfamiliar with the harsh tempo of heavyweight fights. Jake mocked the Jay, sticking out his tongue after slipping shots, but behind the scenes, his gas tank was emptying fast. He looked sharp on the surface by staying evasive, yet in reality, he was sprinting straight toward his own undoing.
Jake was very mobile. I mean, he had the happy feet going. He was circling around the outside of the ring. He was not looking to engage in elongated combinations. He was not looking to stand in the center of the ring with AJ, and people are going to say Jake ran from AJ, and you're right. Because guess why? He absolutely had to. Again, we talked about this in the build-up to the fight. He had to be mobile. He had to be on his bike. So yes, you're justified in saying Jake ran from him because he had to. He had to. And anybody that convinced themselves that Jake was going to walk to the center of the ring, stand in the phone booth with AJ and trade punches until someone laid flat, you were lying to yourself, or you convinced yourself of something you saw in the promo. This was always going to be the way the fight went. I wasn't surprised at all that this is the way that Jake started and pretty much fought the entire time. I was a bit surprised that AJ didn't assert himself earlier. Now, again, it is very hard to hurt someone that doesn't want to engage in a continuous fight. Round one, very much a feeling out process for AJ. Didn't really look like he did much, but Jake didn't either. There was one right hand that AJ landed in the first round that shook Jake up. That's the danger that was coming for Jake.
By round 5, the problem child had run out of space. Even the referee grew impatient, reminding both fighters that no one paid to watch a foot race and urging them to engage. That was the moment heavyweight reality struck. Lewis noted how Jake suddenly stopped moving and stood still, turning himself into an easy target. A brutal left hook buckled his legs in the 5th, and from there it unraveled quickly. The 6th round lasted less than 90 seconds before a thunderous straight right dropped Jake flat on the canvas. The trash talk vanished, the tongue stayed put, and the referee stepped in to end it.
AJ come alive. He saw a wounded animal and finally went in for the kill. And let me tell you something. Jake took some fucking hard KO punches in this fight. The first one in the first round, he got hit with a shovel hook from the left side. He got hit with an uppercut at one point. It's a heavyweight fight. I'm not going to congratulate Jake for, getting beat up, but I am going to congratulate his heart for being able to take those punches and not quit on himself, at least to the point of being like, I'm just going to stay on the ground here and call it an evening. He didn't do that. He got up multiple times. He got dropped multiple times. Again, kind of the clinch weird thing, but he would get hit with a punch and, look to clinch at AJ and just kind of fall by the wayside. That happened twice in the 5th round. And then in the 6th, the levee broke. He finally got Jake into the corner, threw a flurry, and then came across when AJ was like going around the side with the right hand and trying to chop over the top, and then, big looping shots that he was missing early on because Jake was moving his head and doing some good things defensively. Fair play to him. He was protecting himself very well early on. In the 6th round, his gas tank was done. The legs were not there. He had already been hurt a bunch from AJ, and AJ went to the body with the jab and chopped a right hand over, and it hit Jake, and he snapped his head, collapsed to the canvas. That's it, and that's all. It was so devastating that Jake turned around and looked into the crowd and went, oh, fuck, that's the realization.
The damage from that final punch was savage. Jake tried to appear composed in his post-fight interview, but he was repeatedly spitting blood into a towel the entire time. It later emerged that he had suffered a double jaw fracture, something he confirmed himself by posting his medical scans online. The Florida Athletic Commission acted swiftly, handing him an immediate 2-month medical suspension. Reports also indicated he was taken to the emergency room after being treated backstage, underscoring a harsh truth. You can play at boxing, but heavyweight power can't be faked. This wasn't merely a loss. It was a lesson delivered in broken bone.
But not competitive fights. Fighting Chavez Jr., that was an easy win. Nate Diaz, an easy win. Mike Tyson, an easy win. Anthony Joshua, not competitive for the opposite reason. He's completely not expected to win, and it wasn't competitive. He stacks the chips too heavily either way, and because of that, we never actually get to find out how good Jake is. And part of that, I think, is maybe deliberate, because then we never know, and the storyline can go anywhere. And while you don't know really how good he is, there's always another dream to sell, and it's almost genius level promoting. It really is. But for his own sake, you're getting into your late 20s now, your physical prime. You're only going to ever find out how good you really are by getting in there with people who are of the level that you claim you're at the right weight class. You are not a cruiserweight. You've got a layer of, body fat on you. You can't be doing that in boxing. If you're a serious boxer, you don't get in there looking like Jake Paul looks. You look shredded. And that's why really he's a light heavyweight. But fuck it. If you want to be cruiserweight, be a cruiserweight. Regardless, just fight people who are now ranked, and let's find out where the fuck he is. Because surely, these money grab Tyson fight, the AJ fight, he's packed that bank chock full. And credit to him. Even if he has hustled people or whatever the fuck, credit to him. One of the best promoters in boxing history, actually. I really do believe that. Because even when fights seem ridiculous, he always gets people to tune in. And he's done great things with Netflix. And hopefully that opens doors up for other boxers, and he's certainly opened a lot of doors up for female boxers. So again, credit to him for that. But let's find out how good you really are now. Because I just...
Of course, a fight this big didn't end without financial wreckage. This time, the infamous Drake jinx struck hard. The Canadian superstar reportedly wagered a staggering $200,000 on Jake Paul to pull off a miracle upset, a bet that could have paid out more than $1.6 million. Instead, that money vanished the moment Jake collapsed onto the canvas. Social media erupted, with fans insisting Drake's backing sealed Jake's fate before he even entered the ring. It's becoming a real phenomenon in sports culture. When Drake bets on you, it might be time to prepare for disaster.
In it to win last night, he got in it to survive. And he didn't do a better job of surviving. He sold the fight brilliantly. That's what he is, he's a salesman. And he's a YouTuber, influencer, call him whatever you want. So from that perspective, he did his job, but he never got in there to win. He just got in there to got beat up. I'm glad Anthony Joshua done a number on him. This is why boxers are boxers, YouTubers, whatever they want to call themselves, influencers, they should stay in their lane and fight people that they're supposed to fight on their level. This guy was never on Anthony Joshua's level, and Joshua did what he needed to do, did what he had to do for the sake of boxing, and blow this guy up and just knock him out.
What about the fact that Jake was able to land on him clean a couple of times? What did you make of that?
Oh, listen, you can't get into the water without getting hit. Fortunately for Joshua, that guy can't break an egg. So he was never in any danger. He was always going to get hit back. I mean, it was 6 rounds. Anthony Joshua was always going to take at least 1 or 2 shots over that 6-round period, but it was nothing to hurt him, it was nothing to bother him. And like I say, this is all about getting AJ's confidence back. If Jake Paul fights, if he fights KSI or KFC or whatever his name is, then those two are evenly matched, aren't they? They're evenly matched, and then they could fight, and then because they're evenly matched. They're both YouTubers, aren't they? They should get that on. I'd probably stay up and watch that.
The biggest bombshell of the night didn't even come inside the ring. During the live broadcast, Lennox Lewis and Eddie Hearn accidentally let slip some explosive insider details that sent boxing fans into a frenzy. It turns out the entire Jake Paul episode was merely the last hurdle before the real money starts rolling in. Lewis revealed that the contracts for a 2026 super fight between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury are already signed and finalized. This whole Miami spectacle was simply a Jay getting meaningful ring time before facing the Gypsy King for everything on the line. Jake was never the main event of this story. He was just a sparring partner on the road to the biggest British showdown boxing has ever seen.
Anthony Joshua talking about if he kills somebody, he kills somebody in a boxing ring. I think, you know what? He's a little bit long in the tooth to be talking shite like that. He's 37-year-old at the end of his career, fighting a YouTuber, a Disney Channel guy, who Tommy B. And now he's talking about killing him and all that to try and sell. Please, barking up the wrong tree, idiot. Here's a fun fact. If I ever come across you, bum, I'm knocking you dead spark out. Coming off a 15 months knockout defeat to a local lad. Imagine if someone from Morecambe knocked me out. You big bum, useless tosser. Get up, and I can't wait if Jake Paul knocks your spark out, you big bum.
When all is said and done, the Miami event was a harsh reality check for the influencer boxing world. Jake Paul proved he could survive 6 rounds with a true heavyweight, but he also revealed that no amount of internet fame can replace real skill. With the broken jaw, the huge betting losses, and the Fury super fight revelation, one thing stood out. The era of pretending to be a boxer may be coming to a painful end.
We'll see you in September.
Is it realistic, you think? I mean, it's been like 7 years, right?
With the ring rust gone, the heavyweight scene is now set on a career-defining 2026 clash. The lingering question is whether Jake Paul can recover from such a complete demolition.
Watch, all right? Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua is over. Thank God it's over. What a joke of a fight. I was hoping I was hoping that I could at least give Jake credibility and saying, you know what, he took this challenge. You know, even if it's for a lot of money, he still had the guts to walk to the ring and all this stuff. I was hoping, you know, you're gonna get knocked out anyway, dude. Like, I was hoping I could say, you know what, because he earned the respect of boxing fans by going out on his shield. Guy just ran for his life. I just watched Jake Paul run for his life for like 5-6 rounds. Literally just run for. He was doing football jukes. You guys watched that fight? Ring was big. I made a freaking point about that ring being big, and he used it to his advantage in terms of survival in every way he could. I mean, this guy literally never tried to win a second of the fight. He was trying to throw a home run punch every once in a while. Then notice every time he got in the clinch, he just went down. Like he just hugged Anthony Joshua and then like would go down, and the referee would call it a slip and give him a break, and like he would just kill time that way. Then he was completely angling off. He was completely blading his shoulder off completely to the point where he's so bladed off that he can't even punch. He was just trying to make himself as small of a target as possible. And Anthony Joshua, people are gonna say, oh, why didn't Anthony Joshua catch up to him? Anthony Joshua never had fast feet to begin with, and Anthony Joshua honestly should have probably cut off the ring a little bit better. That's my one critique of Joshua. He probably could have cut off the ring a little bit better. Joshua's always never really had the best feet, but in terms of cutting off the ring, could have at least done that. But honestly, what do you want the guy to do? I mean, this guy ran for his life in a 22 by 23 foot ring. That ring was huge. That ring was huge. I can't believe what I just watched, guys. I'm seriously, like, dude, that's it. That's it. This was AJ's chance. Could have went out on his shield and his chance to say, yeah, get the respect of the boxing community. This was the one that could have got him the respect of the boxing community. This was the one. He came out with all these rap crap and doing the Hulkamania crap and all that other stuff and all that stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, is he that calm, or is he literally just setting up his own demise? I mean, I don't know. AJ came out to the ring really serious, which would you expect? And then, I mean, he never fought. Jake never fought. Like, he never fought.
We want to hear from you. Will Jake Paul return to the ring, or did this knockout end any hopes of a comeback? Share your thoughts in the comments. That's a wrap for today's breakdown. If you enjoyed this content, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any uploads. Drop your opinions below. Keep watching, and we'll see you next time.